Apologetics is a word which means reasoned arguments or writings in justification of something, usually a religious doctrine, such as Christian apologetics. The term rape apologist, though, is used in the mainstream often. The problem is that it is used to imply that whoever is being accused of rape apologetics or being a rape apologist, the implication is that they are actually arguing in favor of the commission of the violent crime of rape, which is horse shit. It's complete crap. In fact, the people who use the word rape apologist or rape apologetics are only saying that because they can't get away with saying this person or that person is a rapist, because they know it's not true. In fact, anybody who uses the term rape apologist without criticizing that term is a fucking scumbag. James Taranto is a journalist writing for the Wall Street Journal. He wrote an article pointing out the hypocrisy of the sexual double standard when we talk about rape being sex while drunk for one sex but not the other. If, as is repeatedly shouted by the ideologues, feminism is the idea that women and men are equal, why are they not treated equally under feminist-driven policy, under feminist-driven rhetoric? If a man and a woman both have a couple of drinks, or maybe a lot of drinks, but they're both equally or close to equally drunk and they have sex, why is it that the woman is magically the victim of rape and the man is the perpetrator of rape? If we're going to even go as far as saying that somebody having a couple of drinks is no longer responsible for their own decisions, like cannot consent to participating in sex, why is it that only women can't participate in sex and men can? I mean, why is a man's choice to participate in sex after he's drunk he's still a human, he's still an adult, he's still responsible for his choices, whereas a woman isn't? This is the feminist rhetoric. And it's rhetoric which comes with the built-in assumption that a woman is inferior, that she's less of a capable person, that she's less of an adult, that she's less of a human being. This is the basic underlying assumption behind what is now an outrage, a storm, this huge controversy surrounding James Taranto's article. A couple of so-called journalists for the Huffington Post, a guy named Ahmed Shihab Eldon, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and another guy who looks like he's trying to do the Kevin Smith look, James Lincoln, who's not noted as a Huffington Post politics reporter, they did this reading of James Taranto's article. If two drunk drivers are in a collision, one doesn't determine fault on the basis of demographic details, such as each driver's sex. But when two drunken college students collide, the male one is almost always presumed to be at fault. His diminished capacity owing to alcohol is not a mitigating factor, but her diminished capacity is an aggravating factor for him. And instead of offering any kind of rebuttal, they put a laugh track on it. They had Jason Lincoln giggling off camera to indicate that, oh, this is a ridiculous statement, without any actual rebuttal. And then they took his analogy of drunk drivers and they took it into a state of absurdity that it's no longer an analogy of people drinking and having sex. The true analogy is, if you drink and operate a motor vehicle, you're committing a crime. So if a man drinks and operates a motor vehicle, he's committing a crime, drunk driving. If a woman drinks and operates a motor vehicle, she also is committing a crime, that's operating a motor vehicle while impaired. But conversely, if the choice is, instead of operating a motor vehicle, to get your pants off and have sex, why is it that a woman choosing to do that while drunk isn't making a choice? We regard her as so incapable, such a weakened, such a non-person, a non-actor, that suddenly she's the victim of, rape or rapiness or sexual assault or something, whereas a man making the same choices to participate in sex is not a victim, and if the woman he's having sex with is also drunk, then he's a rapist. It's absurd. This is James Taranto's argument. It mirrors my own. But the rhetoric and the outrage, the storm and all the screaming and the crying and the false laughter is just assuming that a woman making a choice after a couple of drinks isn't an adult, is a weakened, lesser person. And that's the basis for calling Taranto a rape apologist. This is hatred of women from this so-called progressive liberal left at a level far exceeding even the most flamboyant and over-the-top accusations hurled at the men's rights movement. These guys actually think women are fucking inferior. The issue of whether James Taranto is a rape apologist is a product of this assumption of female inferiority. These guys are absolute pure scumbuckets. Not just because of their view of women, not just because of the completely dishonest characterization of Taranto's argument, but I mean, the Huffington Post, instead of doing news, they put a laugh track on the reading of James Taranto's piece, because they don't actually have a counter-argument. I'm flabbergasted and amazed that this is the state of modern journalism. I mean, what more can I say? This is, we've gone into cloud cuckoo land. I'll have more on this later. I'm John the Other. Thanks for watching.